Hello, my country people. Welcome back to Spice Channel TV. The Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has stated that the protesters seen flying the Russian flags in parts of Kano and Kaduna states committed treason, as they suggested that the military should step into the current protests rocking the country. And this was stated by the Chief of Defense Staff after an emergency security session with President Bola Tinubu at the Aso Rock Villa. He stated that the military had accepted democracy and regime change would never be allowed, while stating this in reaction to allegations that some persons were calling for a coup. They've noted that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government has directed all security agencies to crack down on hoodlums hijacking the ongoing nationwide hunger protests and disrupting public peace. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has also warned that those flying the Russian flags within Nigeria's territory and as well as their sponsors will be apprehended and they will be charged with treason and felony. He said that those that are calling for a coup, that this government will never accept a military regime because Nigeria as a nation, we are practicing democracy and we can never go back to a military regime. The president is clear on his instructions that at this point everybody would make sure that they get hold of those elements pushing these individuals to carry Russian flags in Nigeria. So guys, what are your thoughts on this? I guess we've been seeing calls for the military intervention by some northerners, most especially in Kano and Kaduna states. But you see, Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Nigeria is a democratic nation, and this was not the demands of Nigerians. I guess some certain persons decided to make this move by flying Russian flags and calling for a military regime. I must say, Nigeria can never go back to another military regime. We cannot go back to a military regime because we know that this democracy we claim we practice in Nigeria is way more better than Nigeria as a nation going back to military regime. It's not possible. It would be like a case of moving from frying pan to deep fire. So Nigeria is not ready to practice democracy, to practice military regime. Yes, other African countries like Niger Republic, Burkina Faso, Mali, and other countries, they've embraced the military regime, kicking aside democratic rule because it did not favor them. But you see, this country, Nigeria is a big country, and we don't see ourselves going back to to Egypt, meaning we don't see ourselves going back to the military regime. We've gained our independence, and Nigeria is a democratic nation. So any form of calling for a military regime would be rejected, and the president has made his stand that he will reject such calls, even the Nigerian military. And I'm sure they are working hand in hand with the Nigerian police force and other security agencies to get hold of those that are pushing the calls for this military takeover. Well, the chief of defense has said that this warning, this calls for a military takeover is treacherous. It's more like a treason. It means you are committing treason, and such acts are punishable by law. These actions undermines Nigeria's sovereignty and it poses a threat to national security in the nation. We see the display of foreign flags and northerners calling for a military takeover. I think some certain persons may be behind these calls for a military takeover, because this was not the earlier demands of Nigerians. We were campaigning for end bad governance, but all of a sudden the Northerners took it to another new level by calling for a military takeover. We started off from seeing some form of violence and destruction of public properties, and also private properties were destroyed in Kano. We started seeing people looting in Kaduna, a display of foreign flags, and suddenly calls for a military takeover. So these guys, it seems that they don't know what they are really doing, because this is not the demands of Nigerians. And the police and also the military have reiterated that the use of foreign flags during protests calling for a military takeover of the government is a capital offense under the Nigerian law. And it seems that some persons have sponsored these guys in the north, brainwashed them to carry out this act against campaigning against Tinubu's government. So my country people, this is what's trending. And a lot of people have been giving their own options on this. Some certain persons have also distanced themselves from these calls of a military takeover, because Nigeria is not ready for a military takeover. We cannot go back to the military regime. Yes, we claim we practice democracy, and Nigerians are not even feeling the full impact of democracy that we claim to practice. That's why people are saying, is it not better we go back to a military regime? But a military regime is not what Nigeria needs at this moment. Now let's take reactions from Nigerians. Biafra land is calm. For me, who bring thugs to protesters in the country to destroy the protests against the laws of protesters? Please, Chief of Defense, you have the right to probe all the bad governance in the country. So you should start by arresting those thugs. Flying a Russian flag is a sign of secession. Let the secession happen. Let's go for a referendum for all regions of Nigeria. Let there be division of Nigeria. Let it come from a round table. Let's do it peacefully, and let our brotherhood remain after our separate ways. The next person said, so even the military does not know what the flag stands for. It is not the same flag that is always on the left side of the president, the armed forces, the flag. These Northerners are saying that let military take over. That is the reason for the flag. Okay, guys, these are reactions from Nigerians. I can recall very well that during President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's nationwide broadcast, there was a flag on the left side of the president. We saw the flag with the color blue, red, white, and green. But the president recently reiterated, the presidency, that flag signifies the Nigerian military, that it signifies that Tinubu is the commander in chief of all the Nigerian military. So they answer to the president, and as such, there would be no cause for a military takeover. So guys, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.